Hey there's Perch, and somebody had a request for a topic around titles or events that ship faster. Basically, the question is kind of hard to explain. It's shipping on an accelerated schedule, but not for the whole event, for the first month or so. And the example that was pointed out was Secret Empire, and then War of the Realms also did this, and there's been others that have as well. And the question is, why does Marvel or any publisher, why do they basically have these events? It's an 8-issue event, let's say, and they put out, and say you'd think 8 issues, 8 months, but they put out the first 2 issues like one right after the other. A week, and then an off week, and then week number 3, issue number 2's out, and then maybe 2 weeks later, issue number 3 is out, and then a month goes by, and issue number 4 is out, and then the artist is behind, and then it's 6 weeks because it slips a little bit, and it's like it just has the event kind of all over the place. And the question that I've gotten is, why is it that, if it's an event and it's got 8 issues to it, and it's going to be, you think there's a worry that it might be late because of the artist or whatever. For whatever reason, you think that at some point down the road, the issues are going to come in late. Why would you ship on an accelerated schedule? Another example of this is Doomsday Clock. Why didn't they wait to start that whole series off until you had like 6 issues, 7 issues in the can already, and then start putting it out? So you didn't have these long kind of endless delays. More delays, and more delays were announced this week for Doomsday Clock. And by the time you're hearing this video, it'll be a month from now, and there'll probably be 2 more delays. So my comment will age well. Let's just put it that way. A year from now, you'll be able to come in here and be like, "Yep, yeah, I'm still waiting on that issue number 11." So those are kind of 2 different examples. So the first one, why does, and it's more Marvel that does this. Why does Marvel accelerate ship at the beginning of the event and then slow it down for the end of the event? And so there's a nice answer and there's a callous answer. So let me give the nice answer. The nice answer is they're trying to really build momentum to get the event into the second act. So all of the tie-ins and the other parts that are going to feed off of this comic can start to kind of really go in earnest. And it's more of a big bang approach. It's you're hungry, you're hooked by the first issue of the event, and rather than wait a month, we want you to give you that immediate kind of next issue payoff 2 weeks later. And so it's fan service. It's giving fans what they want, getting comics into the hands of fans faster. That's the happy answer. The more bitter, callous, honest answer is that when they double ship in the first month, the retailer is ordering more issues with less data. Unfortunately, the cold hard fact of it is, Marvel publishes an event. You get your little your little ordering catalog there. You're gonna start figuring out what you're gonna order, and you have some cutoffs and you have some other things coming up. And the more you front load an event, the more issues the retailer is going to order of that event, sight unseen, not knowing if the comic is going to catch or not. And more recently, the trend with a lot of the more recent events is that it doesn't catch. Secret Wars held up okay. Secret Empire did not. Civil War 2 did not. War of the Realms is showing a lot of signs that it's going to lose some steam, even though we're only a couple issues into it. It's all the indicators, the tie-in indicators, the polls, the advance requests are indicating it's going to be lower. But if you front load the event, then retailers are going to have to go in harder than they normally would. Just statistically, they're going to have to go a little bit. Events are what the publishers market, so that's what's going to sell well because that's where most of the dollars and the time and the energy, the better artist, the money is being spent. So the event's going to sell better, but you're not sure how much better, and it's going to taper off, but in the beginning you're pretty much stuck with what you got, and that's what's going on. So the callous answer, and you may say, that's ridiculous, that is exactly what is happening. I'm sorry. I've heard it from the horse's mouth that it's pushing more comics into the retailer to get those orders in. before you have a chance to see what the tail of this event's going to look like. And the sad fact of it. So more books are moved. It's why if you go to kind of back issue bins or half price books or other things, you will see plenty of issue 2, 3, and 4 of Secret Empire and Civil War II, and less toward the end of the series. And that's because retailers realized, when the first couple issues went in, they saw the trend going down, they reduced their orders, and that's, and you can look at the sales figures on Comic-Con or other places. You see these, since for events where they ship more issues at the beginning, you see more of a plateau before the drop. And it's because you don't really have a choice. You have to order more of that event sight unseen. So that's why. In Doomsday Clock, it's a bit of a different answer. So there, the question being, why don't retailers simply, why, or not retailers, what am I saying? Why don't the publishers wait until they have more issues in the bag before they start pushing this event out? And that one is a tougher one because, the answer is, I don't, because they don't have good sense. I don't know. What do you want me to say? They absolutely should wait, but you can't, well, one, you can't always just wait. There's, you have deadlines, you have things to push, and Doomsday Clock was going to be Gary Frank is a sellable creator, and Jeff Johns is a sellable creator, and Watchmen meets DC was going to be a big topic, and DC needed, that boost coming out of Rebirth. They wanted to keep sales figures going, and they had an issue and they sold it. They went out. You can't just hold things in the bag unless you have a lot of things going at once. And unfortunately, neither of the publishers has a lot of things going at once, so they're having to push some stuff out. The other part of that answer is, sometimes the creators are slower than you think. That's definitely true with at least the scuttlebutt, the rumors around before Watchmen are that they did expect Frank to be a little quicker. They expect Johns to not be as distracted with the various turmoil and other things going on, and they expected things to move along better, and that didn't happen. And that's an unfortunate thing. I think that's true with Mark Miller and Stephen Niven with Civil War. That was a case where things slowed down and they didn't expect it, as is true with Secret Wars as well, where Hickman, that creative team, slowed things down a little bit. Not terrible, but a little bit. Before Watchmen is kind of a new level, but really harkens back to the Ultimates and kind of that team. And sometimes creators just are slow, and if you respect the creative team, if you want to see that vision through, you wait. And I would say I hate the delays, but I'd rather have the delays than them bring in some other artist to finish things off. I think that's worse. Definitely worse when you kind of disrespect the story that way. It's good to just let the creator vision be the creator vision. But interesting question. I think the first one, it is an interesting gimmick, and it'll be interesting to me to see how long that lasts and at what point do the retailers revolt. And I mean, that's not going to hold. It is not going to stay this way because, retailers are frustrated by the double shipping of getting things out. It becomes a real headache when the double ship happens and then delays set in. That is just that's bad on top of bad. And that's happening a lot lately, or in the last couple of years. So, I think that there's that. The publishers and really, Marvel, DC are heading to a place where they're going to get spanked pretty hard on events from the market. The retailers are going to say enough is enough, and the readers are going to say enough is enough, and people are just going to sleep on an event. And it's going to be a case where they'll get spanked on it is that they'll put the marketing muscle and dollars and attention toward an event, and they'll stop some series, or they'll interfere with regular comics for this event, and then the event is going to thud. You're going to see an event where they don't crack 75K for that first issue, and the rest of the issues are going to trickle down into the 50, 40K, and that will be seismic. for the publisher when that happens. And I do think that we're headed there soon, not because the quality of the books is necessarily bad, but because there's too much, there's too many, and the gimmicks around variants and shipping schedules and times are going to burn people. I'm amazed at the amount of people who are burned by Major X thinking that Liefeld would be on issue number 2. And he was on issue number 1, and I did a review of it. And there was a lot of positive feedback of, hey, this feels like a 90s comic. This feels like this gives me good nostalgia feels. And so I want more of this. And then they showed up for issue number 2. They got the Liefeld cover, and they opened the book. It's like, wait, what the hell is this? Suddenly, different art. That burned people. They're used to kind of the first issue being one artist, and then by issue number 4 or 5, they've swapped out. But issue number 2, with kind of the brainchild of a 90s creator that was sold and marketed as the brainchild of a 90s creator, that's a tough one to go out. So I think that there's a general exhaustion of kind of these I want to say manipulative, but that's really kind of what it is. It's these little gimmicks that people are getting tired of. There's enough is enough. We're headed to the end, and I do think that will come back to haunt people. Anyway, there's an answer to your question. I hope that answered the question. Do you have any follow up, any feedback? Do you think, hey, he's way off base here, he's wrong? I'd love to hear it. Subscribe, hit the bell for notification. Let me know what you'd like me to talk about. Follow me on social media, and thanks for listening.